Mythic Earth. We are going in strange new directions on the Joy of Wargaming today. Not only are we gaming in 32mm, I'm playing with another person. Weird, right? Pretend that you're at a convention, you're standing over my shoulder. We're going to run a little bit of a demo game with one of the developers of Mythic Earth. Now, we're going to be playing Mythic Americas. So let's take a look at the forces. First up, we have the Incas. Mike is going to be handling these guys, and why don't you tell us a little bit about them?
You want to go? The Inca are very strong in their magic.
Wait a minute, you're not Mike. Who are we talking to?
This is Brian. I'm sorry, I'm one of the game designers.
Brian is one of the, look at that, huh? Are you comfortable being on camera?
Oh, sure, I don't care.
Hi.
So this is Brian to give you a face, and this is Mike, my erstwhile opponent.
Yeah, so Inca,
These are the Incas.
Yeah, so Inca have a very strong archery and magic aspect to them. Their caster is the one and only wizard that can actually activate twice in a turn. So they can cast 2 sets of magic.
And who are we looking at here? This is the leader?
That's the Sapa. That is the warlord.
So every force needs a leader?
Needs a leader.
And we've got a total of 3 units here, is that right?
It looks like, yep, you got the warlord unit, and you got an archer unit, and you got a hand-to-hand unit, and well, you got the condor, so that's a 4th unit.
Oh, I didn't even see those guys in the back.
Yep.
Look how good those guys look.
Yeah, those are fun. Those are an underutilized unit in my esteem. So I've had good luck with flying around with them, and people don't give them the weight that they
Respect
deserve.
that they're gonna earn on the table today.
We'll see. I mean, that's Mike's job.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be handling
the Maya.
The Maya. So our general over here is
You got
he's a handsome devil, so that's
Yeah.
appropriate.
the Halak eunuch warlord. So yeah, so so the Maya are very expensive, but they're very powerful. So you're going to typically be outnumbered in every game you're in.
And he's got, is this 2 bodyguards?
2 bodyguards.
With him?
Yep,
All
that's
right.
his 2 bodyguards.
And standing next to them are?
That's the Clockwork Warriors. So those are those the nobles? No, those are the warriors.
Okay.
Yep. So you got 2 units of the warriors with spears, and then you got 1 archer unit for the ranged. And then
this one's for the ladies. All right, and in the back,
the back you have what's called the Children of Zabalba. So that is a cult that worships the jaguar, and in our lore, they have taken the aspect of their god and become, hybrid.
So they're were-jaguars.
They're not. When we have were-jaguars, those are different. So we actually have a unit were-jaguars that actually physically change shape from the human form to a jaguar form. So they can either be a warrior unit or a fast and movement.
So rather than shapeshifters, these guys are...
These have just taken on one form that's taken on the aspect of their god, and so it makes them... That's a monstrous unit that is strong in combat.
Unlike most games, instead of rolling for initiative, we're going to roll for alignment. That's just a simple D10 roll-off. I get the 1, he gets the 5, and he's going to choose...
You choose.
What
Lowest wins in this one.
Lowest wins in this one.
Right.
I'm already out of my element. So I get to choose one of my forces, whether I am going to be
The ever-changing?
the ever-changing or the ever-living.
No, the
And
ever-living.
I'm going to take the ever-changing, not knowing what that is, but I'm comfortable with that. We'll roll with it.
It's a good choice. It's a good choice. So you choose that. Now what ends up happening is I would choose the scenario, or what they call the balance of the way.
Because I choose which
Alignment.
you are going to choose the scenario.
Correct.
Okay?
Right. So that's going to be your primary objective, the primary scenario, and what we call kind of the balance of the way, how the game is balanced.
Okay.
So in this situation, we would choose, since we're playing a demo game, we would choose a simple scenario. I would choose one where we're trying to build altars, and I'll explain that when we set up. So I would choose the scenario. Let's say that's the scenario that we're going to choose. The next thing that happens is that we place terrain.
Okay.
So there's already terrain on the table.
Already done that. Look at this lush table here. Building altars is a scenario where you're going to be, building altars. However, you're also going to be breaking your opponent's altars down. To build an altar, your humanoid units, if they're within 10 inches of a heroic figure. Now, as a demo game, we just have our leaders as heroic figures. They can build up a temple. How do I destroy an altar?
You would just attack it.
You move into play and you attack it. We'll get to attacking here in just a moment. We're going to go ahead and deploy our forces
Correct.
12 inches from the board.
Yep.
We'll show you what the table looks like, and we'll show you what the actual turn gameplay looks like.
Yep.
For deployment, we're each going to roll a d6 for every unit we have. Demo game, we've each got 5 units. So I roll 5 dice, Mike rolls 5 dice, and whoever gets the most 6s is going to deploy first. But not only that, he's going to deploy all of his 6s. Then the other guy does 6s. Then we go 5s, 5s, and so on down the line. Now, this is an interesting mechanic because this will also be the order in which your units activate in the first turn. So I have to, these are 3 6s, right?
So you're going to deploy first. You're going to deploy one of your 6s
I'm
first.
going to deploy a 6, then you're going to deploy a 6,
Yes.
then me, then you, then me. And because I've deployed first, you have information about what my potential strategy is.
Correct.
And you can plan around that. Now, I'm still going to get to go first, but you at least know who's going when I assign these dice to my units.
That is correct.
All right. I've nominated my leader,
Okay.
my bowman, and one of my spear units as 6s. So I can choose one of those to move first. So I can confuse you a little bit with that. And then I'm going to bring my jaguar men and follow up with this last unit of spears. On the other side of the table, you're going to start with your condor riders and your leader. And then you've got a couple of swarms of that unit of melee guys.
Yep.
That unit of bows, and then following up with this unit of melee guys way over here on the flank. And we should probably talk a little bit about the stats here. It's nothing really surprising. This is one of those games it's comfortable, right? It's the same but different. And so here we get into a little bit of the same. Movement, shooting, fighting, save. What is reaction and bravery. So these are all just basic stats. Your movement is in inches. What does this shooting of 5 signify?
The range of your shooting.
I can shoot.
Not the range, sorry. The actual target number that you have to.
So we're rolling d6s. I need to get 5s to hit.
We're rolling d10s, and you need a 5 or below to hit. Because in this game,
I like rolling d10s better. Yes. Okay. Understood. And then save is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Rolling d10s, trying to roll a 6 or less. There's a number in parentheses. What does that mean?
They have armor, so they get to use their armor save.
Armor save, we get a 7 or better. And then again with reaction and bravery.
So reaction and bravery are those things that will come in the game when you're having combat. So reaction is just kind of a way for you to counter somebody. We'll talk about that if it comes up. And bravery you've seen in a lot of games where, if a combat unit is under stress or, is going to run.
Taking casualties. Do the rest of the guys want to stick around, or are they going to beat feet? And of course we've got talents over here, which are your basic power-up traits. You guys know what that is. So we're going to get into the actual gameplay itself.
Awesome.
The Condor Riders made a double move. We've been alternating movement a little bit here. My archers made a single move, which frees up an action to fire their bows. Their bows have an optimal range of 10 inches. The Condor Riders are outside of that, but they are within double range, so I can take the shot. Because it's beyond optimal range, my shoot skill of 5 goes to a roll skill of 4. I'm shooting with 5 guys. These guys are actually up on the steps right behind, but you get it. You guys know how it works. So I roll the 5 dice, and I'm hitting on 4s or less. I get a single hit, and now it's your turn.
Yes. So I will roll a save. My save is a 6 on the Condor Riders. So we'll go ahead and roll. I rolled a 9. So I will take... So they do generally 1 damage. So
do these guys have 1 hit?
They have 1 hit. Now you can upgrade them. I didn't upgrade these guys for the start of the game, so they'll take it. So my guys here are going to take a shot here
At the Children of Zabalba.
at the Children of Zabalba.
Now, they didn't move, so they're going to be at an effective +1.
Well, they're going to take. So they have 2 actions. One of their actions is going to be focus shot. That's going to give me a +1 to my shoot. So my shooting skills of 5, it's going to go to 6. Now, because it's long range, it's going to go back down to a 5. And because these guys have dodge, which means, hey, they're harder to shoot at, it's going to go down again to a 4.
But that dodge only comes into play if this unit has already moved this turn?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. So hitting on
4s or less. Now let's see.
2 hits,
Yeah.
and I get to roll a save, and the Children of Zabalba have a save of 7. With a 2 and a 5, I made both of those. That ends the turn. But before we do, because the children of Zabalba, her little rugrats, took bowfire and took a hit, even though they made the save, they take a suppression marker, or pin marker, and we actually saw the same thing over here. With the one wounding hit, those guys have a pin marker. We'll get to that when we get to it. That means we got to roll our activation dice again, but this time we're not going to assign them until they get used. If this sounds familiar to you, it's probably because it's very similar to the bolt action rule set, correct?
So, and then we just put them again from highest to lowest.
So we match them from high to low.
Yep.
That was a 3, so 5-5.
Yep.
And because nobody got 6s,
We move down.
we got 2 5s to 2 5s. You've got 4s,
So I
so
would-
you get to activate first.
correct. So
And with the
again,
first activation, we're going to take another shot.
Yep.
Same rules apply, except I haven't moved yet. So you're hitting on 5s.
correct. Okay, so it's better here.
So we get 3 hits this time, saving still on 7s, and I got 2 saves. 1 failure means we remove 1 figure. And actually, I like the Panther guy. I'm going to leave him on the table a little bit longer.
You're gonna take
And
another.
I take
pin.
another pin. So, if I want to activate these guys first, probably not tactically sound, but because we're already here, I'm going to do that. What do these pin markers mean?
They have to take a bravery test to see if they're gonna be brave enough to.
They have a bravery of 9.
So -2.
So -2, it's -1 for each of these pin markers. So I'm going to roll 1 die to see if they can activate.
Correct.
And I
7
need
or
a
less.
7 or less. With a 4, what happens to the markers? Are they
One
gone?
goes away.
Just 1. And now we move into melee.
Right. So now you would do a charge, basically. Yep.
Okay. My children of Zabalba have war spears. They're going to chuck those at the enemy as they charge, meaning I get 2 attacks with my shoot skill of 5. So I'm hitting on 5s.
You're hitting on 4s because since they're running. there's a
Because
negative
they're
model.
charging, I'm hitting on 4s. And any casualties won't factor into the melee. Once we work these out, we'll roll melee simultaneously, and your survivors will be doing damage to my unit as my unit does to yours. So again, hitting on 5s, I get no misses with my war spears. Now, because these are big guys, you can tell, right? They're strapped, man. They're jacked. So I have fight 3. I'm going to roll 3 dice per figure.
Correct.
You're going to roll 1 die per figure, so it's 6 to me to 5 for you.
Correct.
My fight skill is, checking the handy-dandy reference, is going to be hitting on 6s, but because I charged, I'm at +1. So I'm actually going to be hitting on 7s or lesses.
Correct.
And I get a total of, these are not, I hope those aren't the dice I rolled. It's a good friendly game. I'm going to get 3 hits. And you're going to get,
I'm rolling on 5, so I need 5s. So this is a miss, and those all went in. So I have
Okay.
4.
So let's do your saves first.
Okay.
Because he's got Pierce.
and I counted 6 dice there, but it's a friendly game, so it's okay. So I have to make 4, don't even worry about it. So you got to make 3 saves, and I got to make 4.
I just want to do his first because yours will go through and hit guys behind him if he done saves.
But, okay, so I'm rolling for,
Yeah,
what do we roll
you're
first?
doing yours.
I'm doing
you
my
can do
saves.
yours. Yeah, that's fine.
and I lost 1, so I lose another guy.
Yep.
And he's out. Now, what is this other ability with
Right.
the
So
shoot through?
now, Mike, you're going to roll your 3 wounds, and any unsaved wound is an additional hit as they pierce through him and hits the guy behind him.
Okay. So I needed a 7 or less because they have armor. So 2 fail.
Right.
So he takes 4 hits,
Correct.
and that's because of the big brute strength.
So 2 die, right? So you're going to take 2 more automatic hits that you save.
So you have to roll saves for the 2 pass-through hits.
Correct.
Interesting.
Anyone die there?
No. No one died.
Ah.
7 and
So
a 4.
it's-
If
7
they died,
saved,
they
they're
would go
fine.
again.
Right. Because it's just going, the spear's just going through each guy.
Gotcha.
As it hits them. Now, I lost 2 guys. Right?
And I lost 1.
You lost 1. So how do we know who lost the combat? Well, we can count these as for the guys that we lost. So we could say that. So whoever has the most pin markers at the end of this combat would be the loser. Now here on this one, Brian, we both have two.
Because we have 2 to 2
You both need saves
So we both are gonna have to do
or a bravery test
on their next activation.
right now.
Right
see who
now?
lost.
To see if you flee.
Because if we fail this, we might flee.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And we add in the negative
Bravery
So
minus your
my
your-
bravery is 9 minus the 2. I need a 7 or less, and I didn't get it.
Yep, mine's just
So the sole survivor is gonna
He's gonna
go
hightail it.
boogity
You're
boogity.
both gonna both-
Yep.
And does he move his movement?
Yes,
Yes.
So that
directly away.
6 inches away. Mike used his action to do a recovery test on these guys. Phenomenally successful. Pulls off both of the pin markers. So now it's my turn, and I'm going to nominate these guys. Notice I put the die down to mark that they've gone, and they are triggered by the Condor Riders. We're going to take another shot at them. Everything is the same. I'm hitting on 6s, I think it was. 2, 3, 2. Those are going to be my 3 hits, even at long range. Rolling for the armor save.
Yep. The Condor's armor save is
So the game is a lovely roll to hit, roll to save, so that whatever happens in this activation, you're interested. You're invested in what's going on the table. You have some control over what happens.
correct. Correct. Yep. That is true. Where are my 6? Okay, so only one gets saved. So they're.
We needed that. The big boys were a big juicy target for both sides.
Yes.
Mike is bringing his melee boys. They've charged into contact with my warlord, and look at all these exceptional abilities he has. He is pretty impressive. We're going to get to 3 attacks, 2 wounds for each of the figures in the unit, and then
2 wounds just for the war.
just for the warlord. So I got a total of 4 wounds I can soak here, and then there's a couple of others that we'll get to when we get there. They cause fear. Does that have an effect at this point?
It will. When they win combat, they cause an additional pin mark.
If they win combat.
When they win combat.
All right. So combat is simultaneous in this case. Nobody's got any thrown weapons,
I'm looking for 6s or less.
and I'm looking for 5s. You're on 6s because you charged, correct?
That is correct.
So I'll pull out all of your 2 talls. I get 4 hits.
Okay, I only get 1.
Okay.
So I'm already intimidated. I'm like, those guys are scary. All right. So go ahead and do 1 save, I guess, because I only
Okay.
did 1.
Well, why don't I roll your die and you roll mine? Because they're already on the table.
Yep.
And I have a save of 7
Yep. They're heavily armored.
because they're heavily armored.
My Cusco warriors are armored as well, so I need a 7.
But what weapons does he's using?
Anything
The
that has
great
strength.
weapons.
Oh, the Makuitos, is it? That he has? What is that?
Yeah.
Sword and light armor.
Oh, okay. It's not the model. Okay. So it's -1. Minus
So
1's your save.
if I had paid the points for this big old sword, that would have been a +1 strength basically.
Correct.
But because I didn't spend the points, we're not playing WYSIWYG. It's just gonna be with the 777s. He makes 3 saves.
But did you take a -1 off of that? Because swords are -1.
Oh,
No,
swords
yeah.
are still -1.
yeah.
So you're saving on 6s.
So I'm saving on nothing.
So you've got 4 casualties.
Correct. Which we'll talk about now. Something interesting when you lose more than half.
Well, yeah. So you get 4 pins +1 because he has cause fear.
I think if a guy like this charged me, I would be afraid too. Going into battle dressed like that is really impressive.
So for each guy that I lost, I get a pin. So and 1 more because they are
Reduced to half.
no
On the
because
single
of their
attack?
ability.
Oh, because he causes fear. That's the extra thing.
Now, generally, there's a rule that when you lose 50% of your units, you have to take a test to see if they're. But,
Typically from shooting. But
Right.
yeah.
okay. Typically from shooting, but here, in this example, I lost this combat anyway because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins. You have no pins, so that means that he's going to take a
Test.
bravery. Yep, he's going to take a bravery test to see if he's going to
At
stay in
-5.
Correct.
combat. Correct.
So you're looking for a 2 or less.
Yeah, because their
What's his bravery?
Their bravery is 8.
8. So 8 minus 5, 3 or less.
He's taking off. All right, so it's generally to either.
It's just the better part of valor. He's just being discreet. And as is our way as wargamers, you have to run away from the guy.
Yeah.
Towards your deployment zone
Towards your
or
deployment
table
zone.
edge, whichever is closer.
Or the nearest table edge, which, take a look, it's right there. He's had enough of this. They're not paying him enough for this. All right, with his last activation of the turn, Mike is going to activate his leader, and his leader has now moved 5 inches. He has crossed the road, and that means he can pursue the primary objective for the game, which is...
To build an altar. He's going to build an altar there.
For the sake of the demo, we all understand. I've got 2 units that have not activated yet. We know what's going to happen next, but we wanted to show you guys how this actually works.
Right.
So this does raise the next question. It's my activation. If I wanted my boys to race across the road, do I have to worry about any kind of zone of control from your leader?
Just 1 inch away from him.
The problem that I have, so I have to stay at least the 1 inch away. The problem that I have is in order to get across the road, I'm going to have to move 10 inches, which puts me basically right about here. And this is where losing that first unit means you're only getting 4 activations. I get my next activation on a 1. And what was my other activation? Oh, I still haven't moved those guys yet either. Okay, so again, just for ordinarily I'd move. I got a unit over there. See, there they are. They're going to run up 10 inches as well, but they're badly out of position. Remember that to build an altar, you need to be within 10 inches of your hero.
Right.
What are you guys doing? You're just wasting time. You're an embarrassment. Wrap things up. I'm going to go ahead and charge.
Yeah.
We're going mano a mano, big boss versus big boss, like so. Does the presence of the altar help you at all?
Nope.
No. I wish. I'm praying to.
All right. So once again, nothing has changed for me. I'm still going to be rolling the same 9 dice and still hitting on the same number that I should probably be able to remember.
Your leader might have. Does he have any?
Well, you know what? We're charging this time, so I am at +1.
Yeah.
And your sword adds +1 as well.
And my sword adds +1. So my fight score of 5 goes to 7. And I am again rolling 3 dice for him and 1 for each of those.
Correct. So you might want to do
5
3
dice.
different color, or 2 different color. So you're like, all right, this is for those guys.
It doesn't matter. They're the same stats.
They all the same
They're the same stats, at least on the yeah. But and I'm not throwing anything, so this is simultaneous combat, so you can roll yours at the same time.
Correct.
And because I'm hitting on, we said 7s, it's not pretty. That's a lot of 1s.
So I roll the same thing as you: 3 for my warlord, 2 for my bodyguards. And we'll just
That's the problem. I rolled 7 dice. Let me roll those again. I'm only supposed to roll 5. And I'm looking for 7, so it's really not that much worse. 4 hits.
all right, and I was looking for 5s.
For 5s, so you got a total of, we'll just slide them in. The 1 and the 3 are hits, the 8 and the 0 are not. So I'm rolling saves.
He had a 1 over there as well.
Oh, that was a hit as too. Okay, so I got 3 hits. I'm rolling saves. And I'm going to get a 4, 3, and 5. That's going to do it.
Yep.
You're rolling saves.
It's a 7 because they have armor. 2 saves. So these 2 guys are gonna.
It's not done.
So we are Maya strong. You're going to take 2 pins for the casualties, plus the 1 because I'm super scary.
Yep.
Does your leader have any abilities
hold on,
that reduce that?
The Conspirator doesn't have. Well, yeah, actually. The Vengeful, they get.
We've already added the pins, 2 for the wounds, 1 because my boy causes fear. So you're saving on a 10 minus 3 is a 7, right?
Yep. My bravery's on a 7. Yep. See if he stays in combat. I rolled a 2.
2, so he stays in combat. But remember that big stack of fat upgrades that my boy's got? One of them is called Vengeful. And that means if you stick around in combat,
You get another round of combat.
we fight another round of combat.
Correct.
So I'm going to be
He does
rolling.
not swing back.
Oh, I just get a free attack.
Yeah.
Gotcha. As he's
5 more free
sucking
attacks.
wind.
Yep.
But your leader does have the 2 wounds, correct?
Correct.
All right. And do I get the +1 on this?
You do not get +1 for the charge. You get +1 for your weapon.
+1 for the weapon.
So
So,
you're
I'm
6s.
still scoring 3 hits.
3 hits. All right.
And you're saving on still 7s.
7s.
And take my word for it, he saved all 3.
No, that's a 7, right? Yeah,
You're
that's
saving
fine,
on
yeah.
7s, yeah.
Yep, they're all good. He wants to stay in battle.
Boss
Still
man
need
is
another
ready
panic
for
check.
next
Yep.
turn.
Yep. I still need to do another panic test. So let's go ahead and do that.
Oh, because we're at the end of a round of combat where you have more pins than I do,
Yep.
you still have to make that panic.
Even if additional ones weren't added,
Gotcha.
still tests.
Yep. So again, his bravery is 10, -3. So let's see. No.
And a 9 ain't going to cut it.
He fails, so he's booking. I think it's he's actually gonna move back here.
And he'll take those pin markers with him,
Correct.
which gives me an opportunity. See, I moved these Braves up. Now I can start dropping victory objectives down.
Correct. Yep. Yeah.
So now that you see how the basic gameplay plays, nice and smooth, nice and easy, roll the hit, roll the wound, right? Pin markers. He's going to take some time to peel those off, which gives me time to fulfill my victory objectives. So let's talk about that now. How many points is this worth? Although on the flip side, I'm going to have to expend an attack to destroy that on the next turn.
Correct. Correct.
I may want to.
Right.
I might not. I might bypass it and leave it for my archers to deal with.
Correct. Yep.
Remember, he's not completely out of the fight yet. I've been rolling gangbusters, but he does still have 2 units over there that can cause some problem. My guys, of course. Oh, actually, it's not the end of the turn because these guys haven't activated yet. They'd move 10 over here. We're gonna stop the actual gameplay and talk a little bit about point scoring and how we know who wins.
So, end game, right? When we reach end game here, we're going to go by the number of altars that have been built. Each altar is worth 1 point. In this situation here, what's allowing you to build altars, like we stated earlier, is any humanoid unit can build an altar as long as they're within 10 inches of a heroic unit, which here is our warlord. In my situation, I only have 1 warlord left here, so if he's dead, these guys are not going to be able to build altars at all. So you guys can go ahead and build those altars. So at the end, when we reach round 6, whoever built more altars, or if I'm not capable of building altars any longer, will call who to win. So in this situation, you kill him. I'm not going to be able to build any more altars. You will be able to build them as much as you want. So that's one way of winning. Either you can wipe out the
Alternatively,
unit.
I've got 4 turns that I can sneak these guys up here, keep them protected with my boss. I've got archers that can knock yours down. If I can get 2 or 3 built up, because we've only got those 4 turns, that gives us possibilities. And again, at this point, it's a demo game. Remember that, guys. We're just getting a feel for the process. And the other question I have is, as a demo game, did we play with the starter kits?
Yes.
How many points, generally speaking, is the starter kit?
They're like what?
We're talking about 500, 700?
It's probably in the 500 range.
Yeah.
Okay, so somewhere in the 500 range. In a typical 2-hour game, you're going to be looking at a 1,000-point battle.
Right.
One of the things we didn't have on the table, and I'll put right here, see how gorgeous that big figure is? That's a behemoth. We were using our monsters and our humanoids, but there's also the behemoths that work in. And of course, we all know, we're all war gamers. We know what the difference is between a behemoth. We know how they're going to play on the table very differently. It makes for a very different game once you start dropping those fat boys on the table.
Yep.
So I think that's good. I think that people get a feel for it. I want to stop to thank Mike and Brian for walking us through this game of Mythic Americas. Ask for it by name at your friendly local game shop, and of course, if you want to order it online, is it available on Amazon?
It is available on Amazon, and you can also go to the mythicalstore.com as well.
See, Mythicos, www.mythicos.store. How's that for production value, guys? Thanks again. I really appreciate you guys inviting me in and playing. This game is so big. There's so much room. It's so luxurious. A guy can get used to this. If you're anywhere within like an hour and a half drive of the studio, get on down here. And it's not just Mythic Americas. They got all kinds of tables. Let me just show you real quick. This is just the front room. There's the Brain Trust. We won't hold it against them. There's a second room back here.
There's two of them.
But there's people. They don't mean I want to be on camera. There's 2 rooms. You know what that is, don't you? The double plus Ultramarines.
Yeah.
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed this introduction to the game. Till next time, I'm praying for you.